And we are going. What's going on with everybody? It is your boy Eric, aka Young God, coming to you live in the Green Dungeon, giving it to you real raw rugged. And it's not every day I have two people on here. It's also not every day I have two legends on here. So I will let both of them introduce themselves, man. Who do we have here today?
It's Dr. No, aka Oh No, out of Ox City. Yeah.
Alchemist, out of the west side of Los Angeles, currently Santa Monica, to be exact.
Hey, man, how y'all doing today?
Good. Yeah, good.
Kicking back, same old, you know.
Did
How you
not.
feeling?
I'm doing pretty good. Did not expect to start off my day watching a car chase. Shout out
That
to
was
the car
good,
chase.
right?
That was good. That was good. You said you have notifications on for when the
Yeah,
car
I
chase.
follow like this one person, and I just keep the notifications on for them. So it's like I get a text like once a day, damn near, like, "Yo, live chase," and I'll be in the middle of like making the beat and it'll just fuck everything up.
You gotta watch it?
It almost just fucked this whole interview up. Like if it would have gone an hour, we probably would have been watching it an hour.
So it's like you gotta watch it. Like you like whatever you're doing, you're like this beat has to stop. I have to watch this.
I have to.
That's funny. It's so funny because I was gonna ask both of y'all, and that kind of answers a little bit of it. Like, what do you guys like watch on YouTube? Like what is you just watching? Like when you're bored, you have nothing to do. I'm assuming outside of car chases.
I don't really watch those on YouTube. I gotta watch them live.
Yeah.
YouTube, yeah, YouTube. So it's so vast. It just depends on what's going on. But I always look for old shit.
Mm.
You know, I like watching like I might pull up a fucking 1 hour recording from '85 of like Channel 4 with Saturday morning with the commercials and the cartoons, like, or a movie that I may have saw when I was young or on cable access that I never saw again. I like utilizing it for that shit. Old interviews, old, like, you know what I mean? I like finding all that. It's crazy to have all that at your fingertips. Like,
Yeah.
even when you think back, like when Public Enemy and them were doing beats back in the days, or like, you name any old producer from the 80s or 90s, and they used to put those audio samples. They used to have to watch TV and record that shit onto a VHS. Like, it was real dedication, so now that we have all this shit at our access, I definitely get lost in it sometimes. I know, you do the same shit.
Yeah. I'm saying it's everywhere. Boxing to video game shit. I like fucking with the Y-Files. I fuck with all that, just everything.
Lately, I've been watching comedian bombs. Just like fit comedian fails, just that most uncomfortable feeling, like, oh shit.
You ever seen Richard Pryor's son bomb at the Apollo?
That's just funny as hell.
Man, I felt bad.
His son?
His
I
son.
felt bad, but it was funny, man. I can't front. It was. I mean, they gave it back up to him, so he did his thing.
Because they build him up like, you know who this is, the GOAT son, Richard Pryor Jr. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Now, there's this one comedian that tried to roast Jamie Foxx that time.
Oh, that's bad. That's
That's
bad.
one of the coldest shutdowns ever. Like, I felt bad for him.
I am your con. It's funny because I've seen that guy do interviews
Nah,
afterwards.
We haven't seen him since.
I seen him do one interview since, and he said that ruined his career. He said it killed his career.
I feel bad now.
What,
I feel bad.
what did
You
James?
just made me feel bad.
And it's funny because it's funny because the interviewer brings it up and they're just laughing like, oh, what about that one time Jamie roasted? He's like, yeah, man, that
ruined his life.
That ruined my life.
His career went, damn. His content was bad. He was trying to go at Shaq's toe.
Yeah.
He was trying to diss Shaq's toe and shit. You know what I'm saying?
That was terrible. That was terrible. I do have a YouTube recommendation for both of y'all. There's this guy on YouTube named David Hoffman. He's like a 70, 80-year-old white man who's been doing documentaries since like the 50s. And he has like stuff archived from like where he recorded like, I think it was like James Brown. He recorded like James Brown doing like a live performance in a prison. He did PBS documentaries. He got this crazy interview where he interviewed this lady born in the 1800s. Like, it's just some wild historical stuff. I asked to interview him, and he let me interview him, and it was so funny because he went through my channel, and he was just like, I don't really understand this hip hop stuff, but I mean, it's interesting, and like, it's just a really, really like historical channel with all of his videos from like commercials he shot in the '60s. It's so interesting. David
How did
Hoffman.
you discover him? How did you end up there?
He's one of those people where I also like on my YouTube, I'm like, so my favorite like, okay, so like in college I majored in psychology. If I could choose any other major, it would have been history, because history is my favorite subject. I love history. So I'm watching a lot of historical stuff, and when you do that, his video, like you probably watched one of his videos, just didn't know it was his channel. He has so many just like crazy videos. David Hoffman, I would definitely tell you.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah, dope.
Hold on, let me. I'm pretty sure I set the wrong person out to perform. Like yeah, he has stuff where he's interviewing Vietnam War vets and all type of crazy stuff. No, it was BB King. BB King performed in prison at Sing Sing prison, and it's a crazy performance. So
I gotta see that.
Yeah, pretty interesting guy.
I just saw footage of the Blackbirds, doing it in the park.
Yeah.
They have a video for that?
Really?
Ooh.
They had a video for it where they were in the park playing the shit. I never saw that. I just saw that recently. Yeah, that's one of my favorite joints.
See, that's why I love YouTube, because YouTube will show you something that, like, I don't know, there's like rappers or bands where I'm like, damn, they got a video for this, or they did a live performance of this. You never would have known if it wasn't for YouTube. So shout out to YouTube, huh?
Yeah, that's the shit.
Yeah.
A lot of history.
Wow.
But y'all said
library.
It is. And
Yeah.
y'all said y'all fuck with history though. Like what?
For sure.
Like what if you had to go down like a YouTube wormhole on any like historical time period or event, where are you probably leading down to?
I'm in the early 1900s. I like that early Prohibition period, like all that mobster shit.
I kind of like that shit the most too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the turn of the century. With going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched some documentary. I forget, it was voiced by I forget who was voiced by it, but it was really, really good documentary, and they covered that like era. And that's just a crazy era. Like, you couldn't have liquor. Like, that was wild. Like they was making liquor out the bathtub and putting all kinds of crazy shit in it. It was crazy time period. Crazy time period. Crazy
Extreme crazy time period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because we're talking about like a library or like a museum. You're like Alchemist. Your studio is like that. Like all these records behind you. It's like a museum.
Yeah, they're not really fastened to the wall well, and I always joke, like, if there's like a crazy earthquake and I just died by records, like this shit just came down on me. It would be a good way to go out though, son. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it.
Hey,
all the records come down.
Hey, I was about to say, world might be coming to an end because they're having I think, didn't like Philadelphia and New York just have like an earthquake a couple days ago?
No, I was there.
You was there?
I was there. Yes.
How was that?
We were driving. I didn't feel it.
Really?
But everybody was like, "Yo, we ride earthquakes like a surfboard in LA.
Yeah.
That's a regular shit growing up. Like, an earthquake."
So that wasn't like a major shake at that time. Like compared to the stuff you feel in LA, that wasn't a major earthquake to you.
Probably for them.
Yeah, for them, I didn't feel it, but I guess if you never felt it before, hell yeah, it's like a train coming through, but that's not a train.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, the train would have been gone by now. You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
yeah, it was definitely a shock I don't know what's going on over there with those East Coast tectonic plates.
It's crazy. I'm in Florida, and if we ever have an earthquake in Florida, I'm pretty sure the world would be ending, because Florida's like already like below the equator, so like we're like about to sink any day now. So I'm pretty sure if Florida start Harlem shaking, it's over for us. It's over.
Any day.
It's over. Also, before we really dive into this interview, I've been looking at this record. I have to ask, what is that record by you, Alchemist? It's the one, the pink. It's like white. It's pink. It's a. Oh no. On this side. That's go down right there.
Nothing to see here.
Woo! That was fire.
That's a special one?
That was dope.
Oh, that is. Yeah, that's. Ooh.
That's just crazy. I just flipped
secret
that one.
codes on that.
Just flipped that one.
I love that you know what it is just by seeing a little piece of it too. That's funny.
Some secret Fibonacci codes in there, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Some told me that I was one of the ones.
You're good.
Some told me that I was one of the ones. I know. I be knowing.
Good.
Hey, and also, like I said, before we get into this, I have to thank you because, first of all, I kind of told you this on the phone. I didn't really tell you this. I don't know why you watch my videos. I don't know why you follow me.
Because they're good. You're fucking excellent, man. Just cut it out.
I appreciate
like
that.
I like your style of review and your taste. Like you're very good at what you do, man.
I appreciate. That's when I knew I was like, man, Alchemist is different because usually people say, "Oh, I seen your interviews. I see your interviews." Your first thing was, "Oh, I see your reviews," and I'm like, the fact that you watch the reviews, this guy's a
For
maniac.
sure.
That is
I watch all that
hilarious.
shit.
That is so funny. So,
And you interviewed a couple of the homies too early on when I felt like it was dope. You were giving some of the guys some light that other people may not have been given. Like, you know, I respect it.
I appreciate that. Like I said, was not expecting to do this. Because I don't think you are my favorite producer of all time. So when you
Crazy.
reached out to say that, I'm like, damn. And then you say also, oh no, I'm like, damn. So I get my favorite producer and I get another goat at the same damn time,
Come
like
on,
Future say.
come on.
Salute.
Yeah.
So I first of all, I just want to say I appreciate you setting this up,
Yeah.
and even more, I really do appreciate you watching because you said something on the phone that probably was nothing to you, but it really meant a lot to me. You were like, "Hey, man, like one of these days it's gonna work for you." He was like, "You're too talented. Like it's actually gonna work." And for somebody who I look at as the greatest of all time to say that to me, I do appreciate that a lot because that really did mean a lot to me, man.
I think you just being yourself is dope. You're just good at it, man. You know, somebody give you a shot, you're out of here. But yeah, in the meantime, enjoy the freedom of just doing it. Maybe you just do it yourself all the way to the top. Fuck it. Who knows? But yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
And I mean, kind of on that. First of all, thank you, but kind of on that path, like doing what you're doing independently. I know this album is coming out on your label versus starting off working with labels from going independent. Do you feel like you needed that structure of a label to be independent, or if you could rearrange this all over again and start over, would you start off on an independent route?
I mean, definitely, like from a commerce perspective, yes, I would start over and do it how I'm doing it now. But I feel like everything is steps. So it took me a long time. I would never disrespect any of the companies that I worked with in the past because it was all a learning stepping stone and every step takes you to the next one for you to, you stand on the shoulders of every last move you make. So it was a good learning experience. I went through all of it from the majors to the smaller to the micro and it was like, all right, fuck this, take off the training wheels, give it a shot. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it was all on purpose. I remember even back in the like before 2010 when I did like Do Rag Dynasty album, oh, we were doing that, and it was like I wasn't ready yet fully as a label. That was out on Nature Sounds, and all our Gangrene projects were out on Decon, which is now Mass Appeal. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, I just didn't have the confidence or the structure the way I have it now to actually call my brother and be like, yo, we don't need them, whatever they're giving us. Let's just do it ourselves. I got the structure. We just cut the pie in half and be out of here. You know what I mean? So now it's flowing, but I think all of it was like steps.
And funny enough, you bring up Durag Dynasty because I interviewed Blue like 2 weeks ago, and
Shout out to Blue.
and for both of y'all. First of all, the champagne beat on the album with you and him, that champagne beat,
Oh,
Chef's
no.
Kiss on
Oh,
Oh No, you have the Oh No.
Oh, yeah.
That
whole album.
I feel like I'm supposed to be sipping wine with my pinky up listening to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to have a nice little suit on. You feel me? That nice. Goodness gracious, that's such a beautiful beat. But
I appreciate it.
what made me say, speaking of that, you produce, I think it's Doo-Wop on the Jesus LP, and Blue told me that's one of his favorite beats he's ever rapped over. Planet Asia was rapping insane on that song, so I just wanted to relay that message to you that he said that's, to this day, that's one of his favorite things that he's ever rapped on.
That's one of my favorite joints too, because it was like in the cut record, that we just had. And that was like a time when everybody was coming by the studio, and it was like a good energy. It was like had just met Action. Me and O were cooking. Do Rag Dynasty was over there. It was like a good collection of people who were always at the studio. And yeah, that was one of those records. But I remember, yeah, when we did it, it was like, and that was one of those where it was like a understated beat too. Like I added the 808 in it, but it was really like the essence of the loop, and it wasn't like a big drum in it. So it was some of those early days when I was experimenting with shit like that. Because prior to that, it might have always just been like a big ass beat. You know what I mean? Or Therapy. This joint they called Therapy. It had like Evidence and Kid Cudi on the hook. And that was another joint where it was like a raw fillet, like, like big up Madlib. Like, let's just start first there and just give him all the credit in the world. Big bro. Yeah, because it was a lot of shit I was hearing at the time that he was doing that had me, like, gave me more confidence to make shit even rawer than I was doing it. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, first of all, everybody loves and respect Madlib, and on the professionals, a way too long. He had both of y'all just talking crazy. That song is crazy. That beat.
Yo, Al spotted that. Al spotted that joint.
We scoped the beat out of the way. It was from the anthology. It was like a low key joint, but I always loved that fucking beat and the way it was turning over. And I just wanted to freestyle to it. Like I told, let's just do a freestyle, and send it to Big Bro and see what he thinks. And then he ended up using it later. But yeah, that beat is like fucking just a perfect example of why Madlib is so good. You know what I mean?
It's funny. Like those are one of those beats like that. I would say on I think Pinata when he produced Nyx, I hear a beat like that and I'm just like, it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't fair. You do as producers, both of y'all, do y'all hear beats like that and have that same reaction? Like this isn't fair. Like how can somebody make this beat? Like do y'all get that reaction from other producers?
Of course. Shit, there's so much fire out there. Shit, you just try not to, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. It's just too much. There's a lot of fire out there. A lot of fire.
Unfair is a word I use a lot when they play me shit. I just feel like I want to throw my computer out the window sometimes. Like, came here and play me some new shit. It just hurt my feelings.
Man, he was. Come on, hey, what? All the crazy shit
Knowledge and Anderson played me the new No Worry shit. I wanted to just fucking light my computer on fire. I was like, all right, man, unplug my shit. You know what I mean? Like, all my friends like destroyed me. You know what I mean? That's like what keeps us on point. Like inspiration. There's too many dope motherfuckers in our circle.
It's a knowledge beat that I hear and I'm like, this is unfair. The song he got with Kendrick Mama off the Spin Butterfly. When I hear that beat, I'm just like, this isn't
crazy.
Like why?
It's crazy, man. It's just like it's just like I don't even know how to describe it. He's on another level. But yeah, all our friends, like all the people around me, on any given day, just fuck me up. Like I could keep naming them, but they're like, I got a great circle of talent, and yeah, the beats. Like, as good as I'll be loving my shit, and then somebody will come over and play me some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing my shit.
Yo, Al's dropping bombs every time. Every track, Al's dropping bombs on people, like, on everybody, like, literally, like, so it's all you could do is try to, like, you just gotta keep it moving, otherwise you gotta stop, like, because it's too crazy. It's too
I feel
crazy.
like there's always room for improvement for me,
Yeah.
so, like, as good as I think something is, I'll hear one of the homies shit and be like, I gotta get crazier. I gotta. And sometimes I play them and they'll say the same thing, but it's mutual, but it's also mental. Like we're all fucking nuts, Like Evidence had this like breakthrough one time where he was rapping with one in the booth with one hand and switched to the other hand, and that changed everything. Like literally, the songs ended up better, and it was like maybe it was just mental.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we're insane, man.
No, you are. You are. For sure.
Like, so it's like, there's some things we have to, like, create in our mind. Or, like, Oh No is a video game master.
Yeah,
right?
if I play the games, I'm gonna make, like, 1,000,000 albums. If I beat a game, it's like, that's guaranteed, like, mad new albums in a couple days. Like.
Right. But even how I see how he creates, it's like from the perspective of a dude who masters video games.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get this shit, master it. Done, play another game. He knocks shit out so quick.
Yeah.
It's almost like the efficiency of somebody who's nice on a game. You know what I mean? And so it's like, when you got friends like that coming over, you're gonna make some shit.
It's interesting the things that people either put themselves through or do to be creative and be inspired. Because I remember watching the Art of Rap documentary that I think Ice-T made. And there's a part where they're interviewing Immortal Technique, and he's like, yeah, man, I'll just not eat for a day and be hungry, and just go in the booth and just start rapping because I'm hungry.
No, that's real shit.
And that's crazy.
I haven't ate, man. I ain't even ate yet. Like my shit be like, I eat like once every like 20 fucking 8 hours or some shit. Like my shit, Al, I'll be like, man, and I come home and literally like I won't eat for another like 8 hours or some shit. Like I'll
That's
get in the
crazy.
zone. I'll get in the zone. Like I just won't eat. You know what I'm saying?
I've probably done that and not realized I was doing it as like a challenge to myself. I just didn't eat for 20 hours because I was working. Yeah, but yeah, being conscious of it is pretty ill. Like, I'm not gonna eat. Fuck that. It's make me hungry or go in the booth. Just be ravenous.
It's
Yo,
crazy.
nah, that's
The
it,
mic
real.
up.
That's crazy.
It is like that. It is like that. You kind of get delusional. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get slightly delusional. You fucking starving.
I
Makes you mad. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I remember I interviewed with this producer, Slate the Monster, and he did some songs with Young Thug, and I remember him telling me that Young Thug like was struggling to come up with like raps in the booth one day, so he came out the booth and just like laid down on the floor of the studio and just was like looking at the ceiling, just laying down for like I see he said like 18 minutes. He timed it, then he hopped back up and just started. He recorded like 7 songs straight. And I'm just like, it's so crazy how like you have to do these weird things, from starving, from looking at the ceiling to
Yeah.
like, you know, like sometimes like for example myself, I like to sometimes like look at like nature and like look at like leaves and just things that's from the earth. And then, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just makes me like, okay, like it rewires my brain. It's interesting how the brain works, you know, like the things that we do to
Yeah.
rewire our brain to be inspired.
Yo, homeboy doing the 18, like Tesla was all hype on 18 or the numbers 369, and he would like order like 18 napkins. You know what I'm saying? Like anywhere he go, he would order like 18. It had to be 18 because 18 had the divisions of the 369 in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy.
That's
Like
wild.
just nutso shit, but like creating crazy stuff off of nutso shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it takes, man.
Yeah.
Fucking, you order 27 napkins if you need to. Hey,
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
it's gonna build you a Tesla and shit.
Yeah.
Do
Go
y'all
off.
do y'all ever have do y'all have like superstitions that you have to do before you
Nah.
record?
Nah. Maybe smoke. I might have to smoke. Just so I'm more calm. Because if I'm not high, I'm probably gonna be like too amped up,
Yeah.
too bust the rhymes. You know what I'm saying? I gotta chill out.
Yeah, but I record in the morning early, and I get here and I start fucking pacing. I feel like I'm about to go into a boxing ring like
Yeah.
at 6 in the morning. I'm more nervous when I record a verse than on stage by myself in the room. I don't stage with a crowd. I'm good. In the room, about to record, I'm like, damn, I'm pacing. I feel like fucking Jay-Z sitting in the room watching me on the monitor when I go in the booth. I feel like I gotta perform like the whole planet is paying attention. All right, and then I gotta also channel some shit that's bigger than me because the energy was here before. It's going to be here after. So I'm like, all right, let me figure out how to channel it through me today with this record or whatever it is I'm trying to achieve. Let it, and then get the fuck out of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's bigger than, I like to think it's bigger than me. Whatever it is, like, all right, it's my job today to conduct the fucking lightning to come through me to the mic. But I get nervous, even by myself. You know what I'm saying? I want to really like, you're gonna record that shit once, and that take is it. You're gonna listen to that forever. That's it, you know. So I try to make sure, and I try to one take shit. Usually the first takes are the ones. You know, if you gotta sit in there and record for a while, your voice is gonna start getting rusty. Now you're gonna sound like you're rapping. The minute it sounds like you're actually rapping, you gotta. I go back and try it later. Like I want to sound like it's a conversation. If that makes sense, it's hard to say.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you start rapping too much, like you would on stage, it's a different animal. In the booth, for me, you know.
It's almost like when somebody say like I'm like somebody speaking at you versus speaking to you. You know, if somebody's speaking at you, it's like, you know what I'm saying, it's much different. You take it better in when they're speaking to you, not speaking at you. So no, for sure.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's even writing. Good writers do it too. It's like that subtlety where I don't know how to explain it, but it's like that middle ground where you know how to communicate well, and it doesn't feel like there's a camera on or anything's recording. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. I mean, I'm the same way. Like funny, like when I'm about to like when I found out I'm about to do like a big interview, I pace around. I'm coming up with questions. Shit, when you told me I'm finna do this interview, I'm not gonna lie, I was pacing around. I paced around for like 30 minutes just thinking of stuff, thinking of stuff. And then when the interview is time, like you said, when it's live, you're performing. I'm Gucci. I feel
Man,
much
look,
better.
man,
You know.
Kevin Gates was fucking with you, man. Hey, that's a great interview, man. You're a legend for that.
Bro. And not to talk about that too much, but like
Great interview.
I didn't have any questions prepared. I went there to interview the concert goers. The guy who runs the arena, he says, "Hey dog, you want to interview any of the artists?" I'm guess. He's like, "You want to do Kevin Gates?" I was like, "Sure." So we set it up, and it's funny because dog, the dude before me, I'm not gonna lie, salute to him, man. He was talking to me beforehand, and he was like, "I'll never tell this on camera." He was like, man, I've been doing this since the 90s, man. The early 2000s, the Hot Boys days. This is before I knew I was finna interview him. This is before I knew I was finna interview him, but he was gonna do the interview. I'm like, oh, for real? I'm like, oh, we should do interviews? He said, nah, I conduct conversations. I said, oh shit, this guy is fucking the GOAT. So
Strong.
So he's telling me everything he does, and he does this. So he does the interview before me. So I'm about to damn near pull out a notepad. I'm like, man, this the sway of the city right here. This guy sway universe, man. Let me see. Hey, man, one of the most disappointing interviews I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad.
He didn't conduct a conversation.
He did not. This is exactly what happened. He says, hey, man, we're doing fan questions. First question is from Janice. She said, she want to know something about that one song. What's that one song called? And then Kevin Gates says, She Cute? He said, yeah, that's the name of the song. And then Kevin Gates said, no, big brother, I don't got no song called She Cute. I was asking, was she cute?
He won for that one.
Wow.
And then the publicist told him to wrap it up. So I'm next, and I'm like, I don't have any questions. I didn't come here to interview him. So I just freestyled that. And the fact that he had that reaction, this is also my first time saying this on camera. That meant so much to me because I know he could be a little hard to do interviews with. So that meant a lot.
Shout to the guy that went before you for setting the bar so low that all you had to do is just step over it. He was like, I like this guy, man.
That's so funny. That is so funny. Yeah, that was a crazy time. Has that ever happened with y'all? Like, have y'all ever went to a studio session not knowing somebody was going to be there and having to make a beat for them on the spot and be like, okay, like, gotta do this right now?
Oh.
Nah. All my shit's it's got to be strategic and planned. Yeah. Nah.
I don't know if I ever made I made one joint one time for CNN, the joint called Queens. I made it in the studio with them, just fucking around. But then also, I didn't know Cool G Rap was going to be there that day when I went to the studio with Mobb Deep for The Realist. I had no idea. I walked in the room, sitting there. They were like, yeah, we want to do that joint. And he wrote his verse so quick. That's why he went first. But
yeah, that's like one of my favorite beats. That beat is just ridiculous.
Yeah, just so simple, man.
Hey, like those are like that's that raw shit though. That's like that shit.
I caught a good time in New York because I had just moved out there, a couple years already. But the tunnel was still around. The first year I moved to New York, it was still 42nd Street was still 42nd Street, like grimy. You know what I mean? Like with. But then a year or two later, it turned into Disneyland. You know what I mean? They tore that shit up and made it like Universal Studios, and it's all corporate. But I caught the ending of a good phase in New York, and that's why those records kind of like signify that time for me, like the Keep Thoroughs and the Real.
Yeah.
Good era.
Another one.
It was flourishing too. Like, those records were flourishing. Like The Realest was like a street record, but Keep It Thorough, it was on the radio.
I don't know who's the first person to make me say this, but The Realist is one of those beats where that's like a nasty, I ain't washed my neck in 3 months type beat. Like, just nasty, just crazy. And it's funny you bring it up because I was going to ask you something because I seen you talk about making that beat and you kind of feeling insecure about that because you was like, man, I got some harder shit, And I felt that because, like, as somebody who, like, I might do a video or something I think is funny or great, nobody like, I do some shit that's just whatever. Oh, it's the best thing of all time. So I understand where you're coming from. So for both of y'all, have y'all are decades into the game. Do you ever feel do you still have insecurities about anything where it comes to producing or things that you feel, uh, even if it's producing or feedback or anything that makes you feel insecure or unsure? Are you 100% sure as an artist at this point?
Yeah, on beats, I'm not sure. I don't give a fuck.
Mm.
Like straight up, like shit. I'll make some dirty shit, some super dirty shit. It's art. Like I see it as art, so I don't really. There's no insecurities. Like I'm just painting. Like straight up. Yeah.
Yeah, when I create, I feel like I try to keep that same attitude too. Like it's all a go. If I like it, it's a go. But I do think afterwards, when I look back on everything, I'm definitely still trying to improve the sound. I don't, I still hear things that I'm like, all right, I could get my shit better in certain aspects. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm very confident with what I do, but I do definitely. I'm not at the point where when I was younger, I probably was more arrogant. Like you can't teach me nothing. I'm what? I know my get out the way. I had that attitude, and I feel like now I'm able to I got a lot of young homies who are around me. I learn a lot from them, like all from Tebe and his whole circle of friends and that whole camp I got introduced to basically through him. I learned a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I learned from the OGs, I learned from the young guys, you know what I mean? So, but as far as confidence, 100%. It's like when you go on the court, you gotta feel like you're Michael Jordan. Like you gotta feel like I'm about to do something with this ball no one's ever fucking done.
Yeah.
Every time I step to the machine, I try to stay in that mindset. If it's a simple loop, like the realist was or it's a fancy thing where you're chopping shit up and you're doing some wizardry, it's like whatever it is, you keep the confidence for sure. And then also, I have a select group of people that I trust who have opinions, who I'll bring them in. What do you think? And get their opinion. It's usually not producers.
Mm.
It's usually just regular people. So I got enough producers around me who are technical and, that snare's not good or whatever. I don't need that. I just like a listener, just a person, civilian, non-music, performing or.
Those are the best. That's like the best. Those are the best judges.
Yes.
Saying,
They'll just like it or not. They're not going to be like, this could be better. If the song is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like. All those beats were cool, but that third one was crazy. Like,
I like those guys, man.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's how I don't know. That's how I kind of like try to come at it with my reviews or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to. I'm coming from it from a civilian standpoint because I'm not a producer. I don't really rap like that for real. So it's like I am trying to come at it from like a civilian standpoint. So for somebody like you to watch it and I appreciate that. You feel me? Because that's the feedback I'm trying to.
That's why I always like your reviews too. Like I could tell you dig in and you listen. Like Hey,
another thing with beats too, like not every beat is for everybody.
Mm.
Like if you make a wide range, obviously like. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Some raw shit is not gonna be for the cats that like the clean shit, and the clean shit ain't for the raw. So you just gotta give them the shit. You tailor make the shit for the people that you work with, and then shit it ain't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a key thing for producing. Yeah. Like I feel like maybe a lot of people didn't master that or knowing who to give what to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're right about that. And always like a master of style. Like he does every genre. Like he's played me shit I couldn't believe. Like you didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really, all genres. You know what I mean? So
I'm one of those producers that I'm in there to have, like I said, I'll beat a game, and then I'm trying to have some fun. You know what I'm saying? If I get in an argument with the wifey, then I'm gonna make some crazy shit, like it might be some straight motherfucking house techno shit or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
she listening to the wall,
and she's gonna be like, what the hell was that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Snake piece. Fire.
That's what you made me do. Is it therapy? Because you said you might get in an argument with her, just anybody. Is that therapy to go and be like, all right, I'm upset right now. I need to go make a beat. Is that one of your first thoughts when you are in a mood?
It's more like I'm a clown. You know what I'm saying? I like to clown all day. You know what I'm saying? So like, shit. If I feel like, I don't know, I just move off. I just move off of however the scene is. So if it's like if it's time to clown, then it's it's time to clown. If it's something serious and shit, like it doesn't deter me from making some fire. Like I'll just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even want to deal with that shit, and I'll just go to work and just it's no different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's funny because you have one of my you have one of my favorite albums in recent memory with one of my favorite rappers ever. Um, that rapper once said on the song, he said he had a brush with death and all it did was make his waves spin. That rapper,
yeah,
you know who that
yeah,
is?
yeah, man. That's my brother L.
Elzai is so good. And that
Hey,
album that you put out with him, that Bishop song, oh my gosh.
yeah, nah,
But I had a brush with death. All it did was make my waves spin. Come on, L. He's a stylist. He's
super.
always been that good, though. He's like literally been those type of lines from day one.
Up here, raises the bar every time.
Every
You know what I'm
time,
saying?
yep.
I remember the
Yeah,
first time I heard Elmatic, I was like, this is
yeah.
nuts.
I remember the first time I heard him on the Dilla shit. Like
Yeah.
that shit was like,
Who is
what the
this?
fuck was this? Yeah, like what is this?
Yeah, shout out to Black Milk. I used to go over there to his studio and he would play Elzai joints. He both of us. He's just like, I don't know how he does this shit every time. He's just like water on the beat.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's funny you were talking about. I think O had said it about you can't. Every beat isn't for every rapper. You know what I'm saying? And I was gonna ask y'all, like, do you have to get in a different mental headspace when working with different rappers? Like, if you finna go work with Jay-Z, then you finna go work with Mike, or then you finna go work with Elzai. Like, do you have to go in a different headspace when working with different artists? Or are you always in the same headspace?
I think when you're creating beats, it's a similar style because it's your style. But if you like lock in with an artist and you're like working on a project with them, I definitely start honing in more. Like I'll start to if I'm working with on a whole project with an artist, the chances are we're hanging out. So now I'm getting to be closer friends with them if we aren't already, and I can usually like start to gauge what type of beats and samples really hit you.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when you talk to them, it's the shit they listen to that their parents were listening to.
Exactly.
So if you find out the shit their parents were listening to when they were young, a lot of the samples and the styles of shit that you can get is going to be sometimes that's one of the methods. Either way, I try to figure out what brings the best out of them. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the best beat. You know, sometimes you have beats that are like excellent to you and you want them to be on projects, but they don't always match or bring out the best in that person.
That's what I'm saying.
So sometimes you got like with Rock Marshy, he likes a raw play. He likes something very particular that makes his pen move. It's not always my all-star beats, in my opinion. So sometimes, like even when we did Elephant Man's, there was a couple beats I was able to get off towards the end when he was like, in the beginning, it was all about finding the beats that just made him write that the shit that he does. And it was like, me kind of like tailor making my sound to fit to him. And then in the end, I added a couple beats and he was cool enough to vibe with them as well. But I never try to like force, yo, this beat, I'm telling you, you gotta rap on it. I don't ever do that. I'll suggest and whatnot, but I want to see what's gonna make you right, because the writing is gonna make the song a classic. The beat is a bed. It's like a thing for the person to lay on and just like, you know what I mean? A good one. You know, when a bed, like when the sheet is tucked tight in like a hotel room, but you can tell when you jump on that bed, you're gonna like land on it and it's gonna like you're gonna go sink in it and the rest of it's gonna come right around you and you're just gonna be sunk in that shit. That's how I try to make the beat. You know what I mean? For whatever artist it is. So yeah, you gotta go in. Once it's album mode, for sure, it's like you adjust your style. Or for example, Gangrene, like after the first album, we kind of like developed, in my eyes, like a sound.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it, but if you listen to 1, 2, and 3 albums, it's like it got to the point where when I be making beats, sometimes I'll make a beat or find something, and I'll be like, "Oh, this is some Gangrene shit."
Yep.
And then 9 times out of 10, I would send it to him, and he'd be like, "Yep," or vice versa. I got some Gangrene joints, and we kind of just developed the sound. I don't know how, we just did it, and so. Yeah, but that's so. For example, working with Gangrene is easy, super easy, because when the records come, I know, like, oh yeah, send this to O, and he'll send it back in 20 minutes with a verse. I'm telling you, this dude, speed demon.
Is that a conscious effort? Like, are you trying to get it out quick as possible, or is that just how you work best?
I'm just in the zone. I catch that zone. He sends that fire. It's just like instant. And I'm not trying to. I don't be really trying to rap. I'll be trying to produce other cats and stuff. But Al, like, he got those beats. It'll definitely like it'll pull it out quick,
Right.
quick.
No,
Yeah.
it's funny. I was that's crazy. You said like certain artists or certain producers pulling out stuff. Like I interviewed an Animos, and I remember tell
Legend.
Legend, and I remember telling him that for whatever reason, his beats bring out the best in great writers. So if we're talking about a Ka, we're talking about a Rock. And I asked him why. He said I never. He said he never thought about it. And it was a good question. And for whatever reason, like somebody like a Oh No or Alchemist, y'all bring out certain stuff in people where I'm like, this is their best work when they're with him, when they're with them. You know what I'm saying? Like Elzai, I've been loving what Elzai is putting out. That Verbot, that is his best work that he's put out in a minute, and it's like
Nah,
you brought out
appreciate
like that bit. I cannot overextend enough to tell you how crazy Bishop is to me. That
Nah,
beat, that
appreciate
Bishop.
Oh,
oh my gosh,
yeah.
man.
Nah, hey, when we were working on the album, he picked a bunch of beats and then like he was killing the tracks, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like I gotta do more. So then I started doing more and changing a couple of them up, and then I showed him, and he was like, this shit's crazy. And then I'm gonna rewrite it and make it even crazier. So we just kept topping. Every time I would top the beat, he would top the lyrics even more. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, I do that a lot. Like, I'll like a beat, and then I just won't like it no more. Like,
Yeah,
I'll hear something else it'll just sound
Yeah.
better to me. So I have
I
a
think
tendency to do that.
I think bringing out the best, like in an MC as a producer, is like that's the most you could ask for as a producer. If you can do that, like coming up, to me that's what Premier always did. Like if I ever saw his name on a record or it was a single, it was like now they're gonna say their best rhyme. It
Yeah,
always sounded like. Then once I got to know Premier, I realized he did a lot of that. He would never send a beat. He was there making sure the vocals were the way they needed to be. But not to take anything away from those MCs, they wrote the records, but I felt like they would always bring the best out of them. And so to be an artist now or a producer, where you could say, "Damn, when these guys give it to you, you bring out the best." That's the height as a producer that you could try to ask for. Is like, to try to feel like, all right, when they get with my shit, they're gonna try to score 50 or 60 because they know that everyone's paying attention or whatever it is. It's the street record or
yeah.
whatever it is. You know what I mean? So that's a blessing. I'll try to continue that.
You
Yeah.
said you said something about 5 minutes ago that I have a take on. I'm curious of what y'all have to say about this. You said that like the beat is great or whatever, but the songwriting is what's going to make the song classic. That's what's going to make the song stay. So
Yeah.
something that I've been thinking for the longest, with a lot of like rappers coming out, um, they say like fast food music. Like a lot of rappers, I feel like aren't put a lot of care in their songwriting. And my take is that the people that we look at as legends, we always love their songwriting. Rather if it's catchy, intricate, whatever, we love their songwriting. And a lot of rappers now who aren't really taking care of the songwriting, I think it may be music that may be here for the moment, but is it going to be here 40 years from now? We look at Marvin Gaye. We look at like what's going on. The music on there is beautiful, but the lyrics are still relevant today. Like they can still apply
Yeah.
for situations today. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I do feel like
nah,
songwriting is what makes a legend.
I agree. I was just talking about this with my homeboy. Like, the today's music is definitely not the same as it was when 1970s or 60s. Even the 80s is just not the same. The lyrics don't have the same kind of meanings. There's no meanings like at all. It's not really meaningful. Like, and that's from R&B to hip hop. It's like ridiculously crazy how it. I don't know. It's just like bad to me. Like, I don't know. It's just really really bad. Like there's a few that definitely have. I mean, come on. Like, there's a few that
Yeah,
have it, but shit. Like, majority definitely not about anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
Yeah.
about a quick buck.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Yeah. R&B to
Yeah.
yeah.
With I think what you're talking about songwriting within hip hop and shit, like from my perspective, it seems like when artists come into the game first, and I don't know if this relates to now, but in general in hip hop, as an MC or as a writer, you come in and you want to dazzle, you want to impress. So you're doing the most fanciest footwork, you're rapping a lot, you're doing a lot, and I feel like a lot of writers, in hip hop writers, when they get to a higher stage, they start simplifying this shit.
Yeah.
You use less words to say more. And it's the same thing as like good writing, and I think that's the shit you're talking about, like a Marvin Gaye style of writing, or like take Yasin for example, right?
Yeah.
Like he's been through so many stages as an MC. You could go back. He did all the fancy footwork, all that shit. But if you listen to some of the stuff he's been doing now, it's like this more simplified, circular style of writing where you're saying less words, but the topic is coming back. You might even be repeating things more, but it's powerful. Like using less words to say something that's more profound, which is the best writers. So it's like, I think those are stages you go through. Even with rock, if you listen to early Rock Marcy, he was going crazy. It's like more, and he once if you listen to Marsberg, he mastered his style.
Yeah.
Since then, and he's just been perfecting and changing it since. But it's like we all go through stages, and I think, I don't know how that relates to this era of rap. And I know you're talking about more of the commercial stuff and how it really doesn't have that staying power, but I think there's always a way to sneak the medicine in the brownie, because even Marvin's shit was like beautiful and so easy to listen to, but it was something in there too. You know what I mean? Like a message. So that's a skill, because you don't ever want to be like feeling like I heard a kid say recently, like I don't like lyrics because I feel like I'm in school. I like mumble shit because I'm listening to rap for a mood. They're listening to rap just for a mood. So if they have to dissect or even listen to your words, it's like homework. You know what I mean? And I don't know how we got there. Maybe that's the drugs that they're on or whatever. That might, because if you're sipping lean, or maybe that's true. Maybe that sounds like magic.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there, but I mean, I think there are some in this era that are doing it. And if anything, they just stand out even more because there's a lot of shit that's not like that,
It's funny you bring up like those songs back then having so much like musicality to it, but it's still, like you could still, it got so much you could look at it on an album, on TV, like you could like, because for example, like a lot of commercial stuff now, it's only meant for like, let's say like the parties or whatnot, which is cool. But like a Marvin Gaye have a bunch of stuff, and it's,
that's what I'm saying.
And it's funny because, bro, go back and look at those albums. Go back and look at like the '70s. Go look at the billboards. The things that was like #1 back then blows my mind. Cause I'm like, that would be like something that you would find, like if that came out today, that would be like, oh, this is cool new artists on the internet that I just found. But like Marvin Gaye or like these musical ass songs, they were #1. I'm like, damn,
it's
like
soul songs. It's some soul songs.
But think about what's #1. Like now these days, it's much different. It's like what happened? It's almost like we regressed musically. It's like let's take out these instruments or whatever. Let's take out these.
You know what I think? Me personally, I think the labels influenced every artist that from jazz to whatever. Like, yo, jazz is out. You got to switch it up. Like, I think the labels seen what was going on from Motown or whatever. They would influence the artists as well to do something different. Like, you gotta evolve. Like, you gotta evolve with the times or whatever. And they would evolve with the times. Like, what was it? The Crusaders, the Jazz Crusaders, and then they started singing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they started adding more singing to it. Like, you just had to evolve. It started evolving from the disco or whatever and all. It's just, I think the labels influenced a lot of that by hearing someone else, and like, that's the popular shit. We need more of that too.
And you know what? It probably wasn't even some evil agenda. They were just trying to get filthy rich.
Exactly.
And look at the mess that got made.
Exactly.
Probably wasn't even some conspiracy. It was like they just discussing just about money.
Yeah.
And that's, but you know, even
But
in the
that's
midst
what
of
you're
all that,
supposed. But that's what a label's supposed to do is get the money. So like
corporate.
that's yeah.
So it's crazy. I think you're right because I interviewed Cool from Cool in the Gang, and
Wow.
that made me do
Yeah.
research on Cool in the Gang. And I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but like
Jazz.
they start off as a jazz group.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
That's
The
what I'm
pressure from the
saying.
labels
I was about to say,
make
what?
a more commercial style of music, which is
Exactly.
transcends now.
I had no
Exactly.
clue. Like, if you listen to like their jazz albums, I didn't know this, but D'Angelo Send It Up on Voodoo, that's a Cool in the Gang song. That's a
Yeah.
song that they replayed from Cool in the Gang. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought that was just an original D'Angelo song. And I brought it up to him. He told me how it happened. And I'm like, that's crazy. So if you listen to the very first albums of Cool in the Gang, there's a bunch of jazz stuff.
I grew up
Yep.
on that shit. I grew up on
Yeah.
that shit. That's my shit.
I had no clue.
Uh,
I thought they were just disco, ladies night or what a night. I thought that was just them, but I
That
had
became
no
a
clue.
more commercial
Yeah,
style
that
of
was-
music.
that
'Cause
was-
the clubs were popping, so that was
Yeah.
another way for the labels to just make the music go bigger. It was like
Exactly.
money,
Yeah.
and on times 10 exponentially. That's why we are where we are now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then you
Yeah.
could just take the steps to see. I don't know if you could blame it on anyone and be like, it's your fault.
Yeah, it's no
Go.
one thing. It's just
You know what I mean?
the money. The money. It's the money. It's the money.
And in the midst of all that, there's so much dope shit on the under. We're talking about the commercial side of
Yeah.
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 in the under. So much dope shit has flourished in all these
Yeah.
years. Like, and, when you get up on that high and you playing with the big money, it's nasty. It's
Yeah.
just nasty.
Well, do you think the consumer has anything to do with it? Because the consumer obviously loved these musical songs in the '70s with the bands or the artists. And you just said you met a kid and said, I don't even want to hear lyrics. Like in the '90s, imagine somebody said that in the '90s. You know what I'm saying? Like I was
blasphemous.
see, I wasn't. I
They
was
got beat up.
see. Look,
Yeah.
I was born in '98, so I wasn't around for the '90s at all, really. But just from hearing stories, looking at things, I know the mindset y'all had. So in the '90s, like you said that in the '90s. You said that in a studio like Biggie or something. Like I hate,
Look,
you know.
MC, your lyrics were everything.
Yeah.
We liked the rappers coming up because of their rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That made us interested about their lifestyle. Their rhymes were everything.
And they were
So,
different.
and-
Everybody was super different.
So as an MC, your rhymes are like, even hooks used to be like a chore, like doing homework. Oh, we gotta do the hook, because it was like, long as I get my verse off and I say the shit I want to say, I'm good. Because that was always the mindset of an MC. So you imagine now, how does that even translate? But that was just how, in the early days, that's what made me like Rakim.
Yeah.
Like any rapper, it was like, I heard something they did, it was like amazing, and it went from there.
See, me and my
Super.
friend, my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Go ahead.
Me and my friend Rara, we always joke when somebody's like rapping their ass off today. We like, man, this nigga must love hip hop, man, because we think about. We be like, bro, who back in the day used to just love hip hop? And we always say Common. Common wrote a damn love song to hip hop, bro. Like that's how you know you love hip hop, bro.
I
You-
never loved hip hop as much as Common. Go ahead and try.
I seen somebody do an interview. They was like, they was at a club with Common and he started freestyling. And everybody was like, oh, this dope, Common freestyling. 45 minutes later, Common is still freestyling. They like, okay, bro, we get it. Like you like the freestyle, but that's just because he really loved the genre. Or I look at somebody like Busta Rhymes.
Yeah.
Go look at Busta Rhymes reacting to somebody freestyle. His face tells it all. He will be doing the scrunch up screw face. Like that's somebody who loves hip hop. That love for hip hop, I think, has got watered down and is not probably as prevalent in the mainstream, because I just named two mainstream acts in the 90s. Common and Busta Rhymes were huge. They're huge artists. The artists today that are in the mainstream, I don't know if they have that same love. So I think that also may play a part in, why it sounds the way it sounds.
I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when there's like a black artist, I'm not even mad at them. I'm mad at their fans. Like, you like this, like, let the artist create. But when a bunch of people validate it, I'm like, y'all some bozos. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it's art.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel that way.
Like you said, not everybody is bad, because one of my favorite new artists you worked with, and I remember jokingly saying, damn, I wonder if Alchemist will produce for him, and you did it. And I was like, that's crazy. Granted, it was a feature, I would love to hear you do more stuff with Babyface Ray. I love Babyface Ray. His voice is so
Man.
smooth, and the way he sounded on that song with Currency was great.
Yeah, we talked like briefly, and I mentioned to him at the time when we did it, I was like, let's just cook a 5-pack real quick. We just didn't get in and do it. But I love Ray. I love these. I love the whole Detroit movement, all the ones that are fresh. Like, I love seeing that. Like, Detroit is just, everybody is dope. Like, that city is just like unfair how much fire and just innovation comes out of Detroit. So, like, yeah, Ray, he's on a tear. Like, him and they just been going up more and more. Maybe we'll get up. That would be dope.
They trying to put words together out there, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that they trying to put words together in Detroit.
That style. They got style, man. I appreciate style, and it comes in a lot of different formats. Style is not like a standard thing. It's like, I could recognize it. You know what I'm saying? I recognize the style in Young Thug. I recognize the style in, I can name a million rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, things that they wouldn't think maybe because of the type of shit that I make. Like, I make what I make, but don't you couldn't put your thumb and be like, that's what he is, because that's what he does. Because that's just not. I like to have a lot of influence of other shit. I respect it.
No, for sure, and it's crazy because, like I said, interviewing y'all have like been like the soundtrack since I was like a kid for me, and it's crazy because like you live life and we listen to music the same way like somebody like somebody like a Rakim for you might have been like the soundtrack for you living life as like a teenager. Like y'all are like the soundtrack for me, and it's crazy because I was out the loop. I had no idea you made this beat, but you possibly have one of the most popular beats. I can't even say in a video game, but in just art and entertainment. The Welcome to Los Santos beat.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the, like, when you hear that boom doom doom doo doo. I was in 9th grade when that dropped, so I remember like I pre-ordered Grand Theft Auto, and like that's just crazy. The fact that like I had no, until I started doing research for this interview, I was like, you produced that? I had no clue. Hey, you feel me?
Salute, big salute.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. We
Yeah.
scored the whole game.
Both of y'all. I would say both of y'all.
But that was the Indie O did that joint because we did the soundtrack too. But we ended up scoring the game and working with them. It was intense job. One of the craziest things I think we've ever done. Right, like that whole experience, the whole year of our life. Like,
Yeah.
Was that the first time either of y'all scored anything?
No, we did the Chinatown thing too.
Yeah, we did a little bit early on for the. Yep. But that was like the first full scale. Like, we got with musicians. They played shit. We recreated it, and then they had like this crazy stem system where beat had to get broken up because the music that we made, they had just started this new technology at the time where like during the gameplay, depending on what happens, shootout goes down, and certain things would fade up and down in the beat, so you get a different mix depending on how you played.
Yeah,
it was like this new whole format, and it was like us working with. My man from Tangerine Dream, who ended up passing away.
Ooh, Edgar Froese. Ooh.
Yeah, Edgar Froese, rest in peace. But we were working with, like, people we had sampled as kids. So that whole project, shout out to the Rockstar, like, they gave us crazy.
Shout outs to Woody Jackson.
Yeah, Woody Jackson helped us out. But that whole thing was, like, came from, like, them liking Gangrene, which is insane. Right?
That's crazy.
I've never seen the video for Vodka and Ice called Vodka and Ayahuasca. Go watch that video. That was really like the video that really got us to get the meeting to them to be like, we already knew them, but that really cemented it. Shout out to Jason Goldwatch too, because he did that shit too. That was really his idea. So,
and it's crazy because I asked y'all, like, do you have to get in a different mind space when you're creating for a rapper? Did you have to get in a different mind space scoring a video game versus making a rap album?
Shit, I'm already in the game world.
I'm about to say, I already know you in your game bag already.
Like, I'm in the game world, so I was already knowing kind of like what to make, like.
As somebody who's I don't mean to cut you off, but I say as somebody who's a gamer, like how was that experience to like, damn, I'm finna be in a,
What, man? That shit was the craziest shit ever. Like, it still is the craziest. That's just like, hey, and on top of that, like after like we got in the game, we flew out there and I had to play it in front of everybody. Like, they were making me play like the whole game in front of everybody and like just skim through and just hear all the stuff. That shit was so crazy.
Yeah, that was an experience, man.
Man,
Learned a lot from that.
And it's funny because it's funny because now, you, going to Al, you have one of the most craziest different songs to come out in I feel like this decade, which is kind of like a score somewhat, and the Kendrick song. What's I'm just slipping on my. What's the song off the Mr. Morale album? Fight
What's that?
together, fight together, or
We cry together.
we cry together. So that song, it has
That
the most
song's
like
crazy.
grittiest, nastiest. Damn, you feel me? Put whoever, whatever, Jada Kiss, whatever gritty Styles P rapper you want to put on it. But no, that song is a musical. Essentially, it's like he turned it into a musical. When you made the beat, did you know that was going to happen? Did you have that in mind, or how did that happen?
No, no, no. He came by one day and I just played him some beats. I gave him a couple of them. That was one of them. He was, I think, early on the making of the album too. I caught him in the early. Last time it was like late.
Yeah.
I caught him early, and then I think Dave Free had just hit me at some point and was like, "Man, you got a crazy one." They didn't tell me nothing, and then like a year and some change went by. So I'm like, "Nah, it's not gonna make it." I never heard the song, and they hit me back and were like, "No, no." I would check in every now and then. They were like, "Nah, this one's gonna stay." I think, like, because he had already had the song, and my man Brock, shout out to Brock, connected me early on with them, but he had told me because he had heard it. Like, no, man, he kind of gave me a heads up, but I didn't really hear it till towards the end. And yeah, of course, once I heard it, I was like, right, I see why it was gonna stay, because it was one of them records. Like when you have one of those, you could, other records might be interchangeable, but sometimes when you're making an album, you get a couple pillars that are like,
Yeah.
these are gonna stay, and we'll dress up the rest of the house around it. And luckily, that was just one of them. So, yeah.
Have you ever made a song like that? Because like I said, that's more in line with a musical versus like a traditional rap song.
Yeah, I never did. I don't think anything. If anything, there was a joint I did with P, where it was like the Don was on his deathbed, and they were like talking to him. He was talking to the Don on his deathbed. I forgot. It was a loose joint for Return of the Mac. It had cocaine on it, singing. But it never anything on that level. Nah.
That's crazy. And
Yeah.
and to go from like y'all are crazy because to go from making a video game soundtrack to you doing a damn near musical song, then we get Gangrene, and it's like this album is crazy. Al sent it to me. That's all I've been listening to. It is such a good album from start to finish. Both of y'all got crazy verses. I mean, I don't even know where to start. You know what I'm saying? I really legitimately don't know where to start because there's so many just one-liners. I do think I can say comfortably my favorite song, for sure is what's the name of it? Hold on. My favorite song is Cloud Surfing. Cloud Surfing is so good. You know what I'm saying? What Al said? You said the garment's discounted, but the man behind it expensive. Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Some bullshit, just some bullshit. That one was the one on the album that we cooled it out. If you notice, everything else is like octane, and O came with that beat, and I was like, because every album we'll do one like that.
What's the Oh No beat?
That's
Yeah.
a Oh No beat. That's a Oh No beat. Yup. And he came with that one, and I was like, we had so much maniac shit going on that I was like, this is a perfect cool out, even where it is in the album. It's like, yeah, it's just the cloudy joint. But yeah, I love that one.
I mean, like I said, just so many bars from start to finish. I think O said the After Effects be realer than with Adobe probably on. Crazy.
Oh, yeah.
What you said? You said on Muffler Lung. You said your big boss man a cop riff off, and I go wrestle that in the junkyard. Crazy. You feel me? I'm a wrestling fan, so I catch all that. I catch all the wrestling bars. You know what I'm saying? I love the bar on what was it? Royal Hand. You said it was simple, but it was so effective. The I forget the ultimatum you gave, but I know the last part was you can go make peace with dirt. I thought that was fire. Just great. Both of y'all did y'all thing. You should join the army. Is also something that's another standout to me. I love You Should Join the Army. That is a great one. I mean, I could just go on and on. I'm gonna let y'all talk about what made y'all think it was perfect timing to drop this one, to drop the fourth album.
It's been a while
Yeah.
since we did the last one, and so much has happened since, like in the rap game, in life. It's like rap years are like 2 years or like 6 now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like I felt like now where I'm at with the label, and me and No been keeping in touch always, and every now and then we'll just make records. Like even on the last Yacht Rock, we had a Gangrene joint on there. You know what I mean? So it was every now and then just splash joints. But it was like now that I had this shit cooking, I felt like I hit like, yo, I think we should do a record, and I felt like I could carry the weight of the label. Not to mention the climate of where shit is at now, with the underground, so to speak, or the type of realm they might put us in. It's like a lot of things have emerged since, you know, like Sage probably didn't even have any music out. You know, Navy Blue or those guys, like this was from since our last album. There's like a whole emergence of rap, Griselda, you can name it all, you know. So I felt like the style that we made is like a style that we can always make it because it's like a sound. And then we started cooking, and I was like, you know what? I think we could do a record and it'll carry the weight. And that's why I wanted to put one joint out ahead of time on Flying High, you know, because I felt like let's let them get us back into the fold. Plus, it's like a new group now. It's been so fucking long. It's like, you know, we're kind of, and everything was just coming together nicely. And it was like, okay, this is it. We're moving. And we just kind of motivated and did it, just me and him.
Freaking only 2 features too. Got Big Lordy with the Big 40, freaking Uncle John on here. Shout out to Unc.
And Bodie.
Oh, three. You're right. Bodie, Uncle John, and Evidence. Also, I had to say this because I've been wanting to tell you this for years. The Red Carpet is probably a top 5 hip hop beat for me of all time. That God Saved America. That beat is crazy.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah, that was me going back to the ASR. I went back one day and made it on the ASR 10 and Evidence. I always liked my old ASR beats. He's like, give me that. Yeah.
And that's what you kind of started with, right?
Fire.
You started with the ASR, yeah.
Yep. I remember the first beat when I stopped was when I did Wet Wipes for Cameron. That was the first MPC beat. And then since then, I've been doing MPC. But yeah, the early days was all, Red Carpet. Shout out to Ev, man. He gets the good ones. That's, you know, we started this shit together.
Yeah.
So.
It sounds different. Like, the way I could tell that wasn't on an NPC because it just sounds different from the other. It's just, oh my gosh, that beat is crazy.
I saw a Jake One video where he was like replaying a beat on YouTube and he was cooking on the fucking ASR and it got me angry. I was like, I got.
Hey, that's another super versatile producer. Like, he could make he got an album with Brother Ali. Then he'll go make a song with like Rick Ross. Like he's so good.
Pitbull.
Pitbull.
You never know. Jake One is dangerous, man. One of the best.
He is crazy. Also with another one of the features, somebody you work with, Bodie James. I have to shout out another producer, Nicholas Craven. So I've interviewed Nicholas Craven twice, and on the last time I interviewed him, I said something that blew his mind. I said, Bodie James just don't do it for me. He said, what? He said, what is wrong with you? Bodie James don't do it for you. I was like, he just raps too slow for me. I don't get it. He said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go and listen to his album with Alchemist. I was like, I know they got a couple. I was like, when I heard one of them, I just, hey. He was like, no, go listen to Super Tecmo Bowl. I was like, all right, I haven't heard that one. I'll listen to it. Ever since then, I've been waiting to meet Bodie James to shake that man's hand to apologize. Like, bro, I don't know what I was doing, dog. You are great. And I bring this album up because not only did he like convince me that I was wrong and stupid, I think that's some of your best beats, in my opinion, of this decade. That Great Adventures, 300 Fences. I mean, oh my gosh, that entire the way Ice Cold Bishop was talking on, bro, it is crazy. That entire album. So I just want to let you know that is probably some of my favorite beats that you've made this decade. Great. Wow. And you made me a Bodie fan. So I love Bodie now. I love Bodie.
He's just incredible. Yeah, those were leftover actually joints that we had that we didn't use for the record, pretty much. But we had them mixed. Like we had a lot of songs for the album. We just decided to come with another clip at the end of the year. But it's funny how you do that. Like I got a bunch of joints me and Rock we're gonna probably drop soon left over from the Elephant Man's Bones. And it's like, you know, it'd be funny if people like this shit more than the actual album. You never know. Like, if you know, like Tecmo was the leftovers for Bo Jackson.
Bro, Super Tecmo Bowl sound like that should have been like, because I wouldn't go listen to Bo Jackson. I'm like, this is crazy too. But I think I might still personally prefer Super Tecmo Bowl because God,
I wouldn't argue with you. I feel you. Yeah, who knows? You know, it's another collection of records, but yeah, That's dope. That's crazy.
Shout out to Nicholas Craven, because without Nicholas Craven, I don't know if I would ever get the album a chance. I don't know if I would
Yeah,
get
shout out to Nicholas Craven, man. He's been going crazy. He's one of the ones, man. So yeah, I love everything he's doing, man. He's always putting together something. Like if I see his name, I'm definitely checking it. You know what I mean?
No, for
he's
sure.
One of those guys.
I love interviewing producers because y'all are y'all might be some of the nicest people, man. Like I appreciate that. With your time, with like for example, I interviewed Budgie some years ago, and I remember telling him like, "Hey man," I was like a dream interview of mine would be Alchemist, and he was like, I can't even do his accent. I'm never gonna try. I suck at doing those accents.
Come on, son. We could proper hook it up, yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
Make it happen.
So like I still talk to him to this day. So like I appreciate him. I appreciate people like you. I appreciate people like like you guys are like I've talked to Alchemist slightly, but this is my first time meeting and like you're just super cool, nice guy. Like I appreciate you just for being a humble, nice dude. You know what I'm saying? Because
I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Bro, taking the time.
I just told you, dog. You have one of the most recognizable songs in the medium of like entertainment of all time. Like you could be a diva. You feel me? Like
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
The minute the game starts.
and it's funny because I want to get back to Gangrene, but before I do that, it's things I want to ask both of y'all, just about like solo things that I've always wanted to ask y'all. And I'll start with you first, Al. Bro, I think Mavi told me this. I had no idea. I was interviewing Mavi, and he told me that what's the name of the song? Is it MTOMB? The song you have with Earl and Liv is featured on it. And I was like, man, the way Alchemist flipped that sample, that was crazy. He was like, that's Liv singing on that. And I was like, huh? And that blew my mind. So I just want to ask, how in the hell did that happen? Because Liv sounds like somebody from the 70s on that song. Is the way you mixed it? Is the way her voice is just an instrument? And just how did that happen? Because that song is crazy.
We got the clearance, I think, for the publishing, but not the master usage. That's the M2May sample. Shout out to M2May. Yeah, and I think it was like an issue where we had to redo it, replay it. So Liv and I don't want to say the wrong person, but I think it was Swarvy who did the replay. And both me and Tebe are like, because, replay is like chasing a dragon, like you're never going to get as high as the first hit. You're like always trying to get this, a trace of something that was great. But we were both kind of apprehensive. They did it. And I remember Tebe came and played it for me. We were sitting here like, yo, this shit is good. It's just, the original is slightly better, but this is good. And we rocked with it. Yeah, so I'm glad it made the album, because otherwise it was kind of dicey.
So good. And it's funny because something that I don't even think it's I think you uploaded it and deleted it and somebody else uploaded on the internet. The original version of Hoover Street with Schoolboy Q, that is one of my favorite OGs.
It's on a 45. When I released the ALC craft singles,
okay,
that was the first 45, and the original version is on there. That was another sample issue thing, so it had to get redone, how they did it. But I always loved the original.
See, look, everybody I see, if you look at the comments like on YouTube, like somebody uploaded on YouTube, they're like, man, this is crazy, but I see why they got the original version. I see why they got the newer version. The album version is better. The album version is better. The original version, to me, that's my favorite. I love that. It's so raw and nasty.
It's better on the other one, obviously, because I didn't get a good mix on the raw, but it was something to it. And that was my early days working with Q. Like, we did that and Break the Bank around the same time. And he was just, like, on it. You know what I mean? He was going up at the time. He had Hands on the Wheel out. He had a brand new guy. He was, like, smashing shit. So that was, like, a good time working with Q.
That's why I've always appreciated you, because you've shown me artists that I would have never heard of. One of my new favorite artists. So, like, I'm going to tell you why I love this guy. I think I was in 10th or 10th grade, and I found out who Sugar Free was. You didn't introduce me to Sugar Free, but you'll understand. You'll understand where I'm going.
You're going already.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead, keep going. Give him his props, because he's too ill right now. He needs to come on.
Yeah.
So I found out who Sugar Free was, and I was like, I've never heard anything like this. This is amazing. So at that time, me and my friend Nate, shout out to Nate number 8, we made a mixtape about Big Girls. I did an interlude on there where I basically did a Sugar Free impersonation. I was rapping like Sugar Free. Ever since then, if you go on my Instagram, there's multiple videos where I'm essentially doing a Sugar Free impersonation, because I think that is just the coldest way to rap.
Yeah.
Fast forward, I
Yeah.
find out about this guy named Bruiser Wolf. And I was so mind blown when I heard that verse when he was like, "There's a lot of things out about you. You know, Bam." The way he was rapping on that, it was just so crazy on that album. I check out his first album he put out. I'm like, oh, this is one of the best things I've ever heard. And shout out to him. I'm an idiot. I should have done it, or I should have got it mixed. But I interviewed him. He reached out to me and say, bro, I see you do your little raps on Instagram. I want you on the album. I recorded a verse for his album.
No, you didn't.
It's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram. It's
Yo.
Hey, can I play? I want to play it. I gotta play it real quick, man. Here it is right here, man.
Bruiser Wolf.
Hey, listen here, baby. Okay, it's Pimp Daddy Eric. I done came with the full shebang, ballin' with that shit in my system like MJ with the flu game. These nigga music so booty, they performing at the Blue Flame, but I'm a titty boy myself. Might change my government to 2 chains. Now hold on, bitch. Stop it with all that gossiping before I smack your pretty ass. That's a backhanded compliment. See, I turned this one bitch like around. She was fucking with them pill dealers. I say, bitch, do you want the perks or the perks are dealing with a real nigga? Now my French bitch, I say I'm the creme de la creme. My Christian baby said I speak the gospel. She know that I'm him, and you know me. I kept it player from the Jville to the D. Me and Gunna ain't talking the same when I say my bitch is pushing at a P. Now my bitch don't got no burning bush, but you know she keeping at a 5. You boys is 3.14. Man, you know you niggas is pie. I ain't surprised. Jeff Goldblum could have told you I was fly. I broke a bitch down to the molecule. As Bill Nye the science guy. I was.
You snapped.
Yeah.
When's that coming out?
No,
Hey man, I messed up. It's already on the album. You feel me? I should have got it mixed or whatever. I was just being lazy. But I was like, after the album came out, I was like, let me put this out. He was like, yeah, go ahead and put it out. So I put it out. So
That's hard. Bruiser Wolf is like,
shout out to Bruiser Wolf.
he's one of my favorite for sure. His style is like perplexing, but it's like you have to, once you listen to it, it's like infectious, man. He's giving you jewels. Every line, he's like, if you really listen, every line is some slick shit. Like, yo, and then shout out to his man Rafi that makes the beats.
Crazy.
Every beat is good. Like, really, Bruiser Brigade is some of my favorite guys.
They're great.
Fat Ray, JUS, all of them. The whole collective is like ridiculous.
I love Fat Ray. Fat Ray,
the Loopers. The
Zay
whole
Loopers,
crew is
they're
like
great.
some of the best out, in my opinion.
Fat Ray got that grown man voice. You know what I'm saying when he's rapping. It's such a good baritone voice. I love Fat Ray. But yeah. Shout out to Bruiser Wolf. He's great. Shout out to that song. Shout out to y'all for listening to that song. I might, you know what I'm saying, one of these days, hey man, you know what I'm saying?
Post that.
If I can get an Al Onobi one of these days,
Hey,
you know what I'm
listen.
saying? I don't rap, but if I did, hey man, you know what I'm saying? I might do what they, man. You feel me? It's funny because somebody who I feel like approaches rap very similar to the way I do, because even though they've put out an album, but I feel like they do it more as like a hobby, fun thing that you work with, Al, is Zach Fox. And
Yes.
I think Zach Fox is super talented because he's like playing around, but you could tell like this dude is talented. You feel me? In a musical way, he's really good.
Like a good at everything guy.
Yeah.
One of those good at everything. You can just tell he's funny as hell. You put on a beat, he's gonna snap. He doesn't sound. He's all the way with it. He's just like talented across the map. Zach is crazy. That was fun. He tours, he kills it. Zach is going crazy.
No, he's great. And to man, I have to ask. We talked about it a little bit. First of all, I don't want to forget about this. Al brought up Ecstatic. I think he brought up Yasin Bey. Ecstatic is one of my favorite Yasin Mos Def albums of all time. And I know you got some beats on there.
Yeah.
Great album, great
That's
beats.
salute.
I will say your brother might have my favorite Yasin Bey song of all time with the song with Slick Rick. I think it's Auditorium.
Yeah.
That song is dun 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 dun. Oh my gosh, man,
My goodness.
Yeah.
crazy. But
Super fun.
I say that to say you and him put out The Professionals. Was that 2020?
Yeah.
What made y'all say, you know what, we're finna do this?
He hit me up on some. He just hit me up on some. Let's do this album, because we always have like a bunch of songs. Like I always stay working, so like we just had a bunch of songs. He was like, send me all them old joints, and it's like, shit, send me some new beats. You know what I'm saying? So he sent a bunch of new beats. I ended up recording like 3 albums, and then shit, we just used some joints from the cuts.
See, we don't see this every day, that like a brother duo is very talented. Like, it's super duper talented in music. Was music in the house early on? Like what gravitated
Yeah,
both of y'all to music?
yeah. My sister, my sister was rapping first. Like,
Mm.
she was rapping a long time ago, and like my brother was like the DJ, and they was like rapping to like just old school like Run DMC and shit like that. And yeah, the music was always in the household. My parents were singers and shit, so everybody was always singing. We singing, we fighting, we eating, we fighting, we singing, we fighting. You know, it's like games and fighting. Like that was just like that was it. It was a lot of music though. A lot of shit records being played all the time. I'd be going up to Oakland to visit my grandparents, and shit, it'd be a bunch of records up there. I'd be hanging out with Dizzy Gillespie, and it'd just be on just some crazy shit.
I mean, that's real music legend right there. Like
Yeah.
being around that. How does that wire like a teenager's brain, or how did it wire your teenage brain from being around that? Like, because for example, everybody raps on. Everybody named Mama rap. Everybody named Mama rap. They don't know nobody who make music for real, but they like to make music. So you actually being around, like you said, you around the Dizzies, and you around your sister rapping and your brother DJing. Do you think that kind of better prepares you to be the artist you are today, being around all that music?
Oh yeah, of course. Like, you know, they're all like, you know, I'm soaking in all the jewels. Like, you know, they all older than me, so like shit, I'm just literally just soaking the jewels from them, from the crew. You know, I got a whole crew. CDP, shouts to Wild Child, you know, Lupac, DJ Rome's, you know, Med, you know, Declaim, Kazi, is a bunch of us. So I just soaked up all the games, you know. Shit, we used to see Curtis Blow back in the days. Like, he used to come by the crib, and like he'd be dropping jewels to my pops about what the Lupac needs to do and shit. And I'm just sitting there just soaking it all up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Curtis Blow, huh?
Curtis Blow used to come by. Yeah.
Anybody else we know used to come by? You naming names right now.
Curtis.
Oh man, I used to see all kinds of people. Shit, I remember going to see like Ray Charles and shit, like.
Whew.
And like all, yeah, you know, just crazy shit. Yeah, but yeah, I was a youngster. I was a youngster, just going everywhere. Like, you know, like just going everywhere with my parents, going everywhere with my brother. You know, going everywhere with the crew. You know what I'm saying? And smashing with my bro now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I would have just paid to hear what Curtis Blow is saying the Loot Pack had to do.
Oh, you want? Hey, yo, hey.
Here's what y'all need to do.
Y'all need to work. We need some commercial joints. Hey yo.
Madlib was like,
Lib was like, nah.
That is hilarious.
Legendary.
Yeah,
What?
Shit was crazy.
Y'all would know better than me, but speaking of Curtis Blow, when did rap, like, because, you know, people like joking, it's like the very beginning of rap, it was very ABC, you know, you know.
Hip to the hop.
Yeah, hip to the hop. Who was the first rapper? When did rap start to become a bit more intricate and complex?
To me, I would say like the Rock Him or someone like.
I would go a little earlier. You know who I would say? Like Kumo D.
Oh yeah, Kumo D, definitely.
Him,
definitely,
and there was
definitely.
what's his name?
And then
there was one. There was like a couple guys, but yeah, it started getting.
Yeah.
But like really,
yeah.
you got to give it to like the Message.
Oh, of course.
Like a jungle sometime. That was really the first song that was like conscious. But prior to that, it was a lot of like, or on a big scale, there was probably some records, but that was the first big record. I think that shifted shit entirely because he was rapping about what was going on, the conditions, what was going on in the world, and all that shit, or in his, in their neighborhood. Prior to that, it was all hip to the hop and dancing.
Yeah.
It was like get the party rocking because you got to remember the DJ came first.
Yeah.
The DJ was the star. He was in the party. The Flyers had the DJ's name, and then they needed somebody to keep the party going.
Yeah.
So they brought the mic and told their man who was slick, who knew how to talk slick and had little jingles. Next thing you know, they became the man. You know, I don't think that was the plan. Eventually that became more marketable because they were on the mic. But you have to remember the DJ came first.
Yeah.
So,
I was just talking about that last night with my homeboy. The Message is such a cold song to me. Like that beat, that
But you got to really go back to that time too, and go back on the timeline, go on the internet, and go look at what else was out months before that, and what other rap was going on, and you could really see the impact it had to compare it. Because listening to it now, heard every. Go back and listen to what was out then, and you can see how it was really like kind of a shift. I think we're leading to what everything that came after that. You know.
Yeah, like you said, the DJ was the pillar. He was the guy. I was literally last night telling my homeboy Robert. That's so funny you bring it up. I was even bringing up like because he was talking about learning how to DJ, and I started talking about house party, and I was like, just look at house party. I was like, just look at how like the DJ was the man, and like it was so important. Like there was like the rapper was like kind of like the preliminary thing, you know what I'm saying? Like you were just talking about boxing. You got preliminary matches, then you got Floyd. You feel me?
Groups were built around DJs early on. You gotta remember, they used to have the contest, the DMC contest, and the winner, the DJ winner, and the battle mic. They used to put them together, like you know what I'm saying? The DJ was like, what? Every album had a song dedicated to them. Like, what was the last DJ song? We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
What was the last time? But I mean, things happen.
It's funny because I don't want to forget to say this. I don't want to forget to say this, but somebody else that I would love to hear you work with more, Al, that you work with. I think you produced the beat last year, if I'm not mistaken. Did you produce Big Dog by Benny?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just fire too.
I mean, when I hear Wayne over them type beats, man, what he say? He said he turned dogs with loud barks into hush puppies. Like, when I hear that type of stuff, I'm just like, this isn't fair. Like, when I hear rappers like that, I'm like, this isn't fair. When he's rapping over stuff like that with you, it's not fair. I don't know if you would ever lock in with Wayne for just like a 5-track EP, but man, that would be something that would be glorious and great.
I do have like a line to him through Mac Main. Shout out to Mac Main, and we talk about it all the time. I mean, Wayne easily one of the best ever, and I was lucky to be on Carter 3. Like, I had to join on there. That was the beginning of our relationship of just working off and on. But man, I would definitely love to do that. I mean, he's just one of those guys. I think he's undefeated. Yeah. Like on features, like. Of course, Benny went crazy, but in general, when he's on a song with a bunch of people, you name a record that he was out-rapped on. I don't think ever. Like, Wayne is beyond dangerous in every season. So, like, that would be somebody I would love to work on. But, I still got bucket list shit. Maybe one day we'll put it together.
That's crazy. Y'all been, I'm pretty sure the same thing with O2. Y'all been in the game for a long time, and there's still stuff on y'all bucket list that hasn't been knocked off yet?
Yeah.
Like what?
Shit, I ain't worked with Buster yet. I like to work with Buster.
That would be crazy.
Yeah. Oof. That's just my main one. That's the main. That's just pretty much it.
What about you, Al?
I mean, there's probably a handful of them, I always say Jay. I feel like I would do something dope. He never goes out of season. He's one of those. I mean, he's Jay-Z. We don't have to say much, of course. But that's a bucket list thing. There's a couple other things, you know what I mean? Scarface. Always wanted to do something with Face. Those are my bucket list items.
Super fire.
Shout out to Face.
Scarface is crazy.
I was supposed to interview him and I messed up. I forgot to.
Shout out to Brad, man. One of the greats of all time. My goodness.
He's great. Shout out to Brad. Freaking Face. It's funny because we're talking about DJs and things that were around back then that are still important today. Funny enough, I feel like DJ might not be as important today, but the way you dress, the way fashion, and both of y'all always come clean. You know what I'm saying? From whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever time period, y'all always come clean. You feel me? Is fashion a super important thing? Is that a cognitive thing that when you are like, the way you present yourself, is that a very cognitive type of, conscious decision?
Not me.
Not you.
I'm dirty. Dirty. Keep it dirty.
Yeah. It's fun to flash sometimes, I definitely wear an occasional coat.
Your coat game's crazy. I have that written down. I have that written down right here.
Coat.
Crazy.
I find it's ways you can express.
Yeah.
I'm not like fashion forward by any means. I wouldn't claim that. But I feel like it's all part of your taste, it's colors, whatever it is. It's a way for you to. But we're not in the camera a lot. You know, we're in the studio, so we're not like a rapper or whatever. But yeah, definitely, it definitely it matters to a degree. I mean, when I grew up, if you're talking about artists, for sure, when I grew up, I liked the way Rakim had their suits, the tailor-made suits, like the ones from Dapper Dan, or how the chain that Big Daddy Kane had on in the, I forget which video it was. It was a Smooth Operator. We had the Nefertiti piece. We used to like freeze the video just to see that thing. Like, holy shit! Like, so style for a rapper matters. Or even when Cypress Hill came out, and they were, you know, it was grimier, and they had certified jackets on, and B Real had the fisherman hat.
Yeah.
Details definitely matter in that aspect, you know.
No, for sure. Couple things before we get out of here. Another one of those things where I'm like, man, I wanted to ask this for a little minute. You made an album out with Arm & Hammer, and there's a song on there where I'm like, I don't know what genre this beat is. This isn't a rap beat. This is I just figured out today. I said this is a psychedelic rock beat, maybe Stone Fruit. I think it's the outro.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I don't know what that is. What?
I don't either.
Like,
I have no idea.
where were you in your head making that? Because I've never heard you make a beat like that.
It was just like a real outer worldly piece of music that those guys are so left field and like creative that I was like, we play this weird shit for them. You know, and then Elucid came with the shit. I don't want. It just sounded like a big ass tree in a children's show. You know what I mean? Imagine if it was just a big tree. That's how we wanted to do the video. Was to make a little children's show from their school, but he comes out as the big tree. I don't wanna. That whole song was just like, and then I wanted to put it earlier in the album, and Woods was like, no, this is the payoff. Because he has a whole theory about keeping a great record for the last song on your album.
Yeah.
He kind of changed how I looked at it always. Because the last song is important, but it's kind of like the last song thing. But he was like, no, we got to save that till the end. I wanted to put it sooner in the sequence because it was so different from everything else we had. But yeah, I love that one, man. That was a weird one.
He's a
shout out to them.
Shout out to them. Billy Woods is a great example. It's about how you say something, because I interviewed No Name, and me and No Name was laughing because we was like, Billy Woods is great, and we both agreed we don't know what he's talking about all the time. I have no clue. If I told you I could dissect all of Billy Woods lyrics, I would be a damn liar, because I cannot. But it sounds so good, and I think that's a talent in itself, to say these complex, intricate things that maybe you the only person on earth to understand them, or maybe a few other people, but it sounds so beautiful. And that's it.
Did you ever hear the song by him called Today I Wrote Nothing?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
that's some brilliant writing, man. That whole verse is just cold. It's like he paints pictures that are like, he's such a good writer. You know, his writing to me is like just like a good writer, period. Like you could write the words down, and they're pretty deep. I wouldn't say he's lyrical. He's like, writing is like on a different level where I think people who don't even like rap.
Author level. Yeah.
Just like Ka.
Yeah.
Brownsville Ka's on the same level. If you listen to his words, it's like, it's immaculate. It's like, how did you just come up with these discoveries and put them in such short words in couplets like this? It's like, it's mastery. So, you know, those guys are on another level.
I remember first time I heard, what was the album? Descendants of Cain by Ka. And I was like, this sounds like the New Testament or something. Like, it's not the Old Testament. Like, this sounds crazy.
He always sounds like he's on top of a mountain with 2 tablets, just saying his rap. Like,
it's because he knows how to paint a picture. I'm like, the way he's like, when he talks about his upbringing and his music, I'm like, he sounds like he grew up in Gotham City. Like, this doesn't even sound real. Like, this is crazy.
I love when people don't know about him, when I get to show them, let me show you him. And I always have this one video I always go to of his. I think it's called Every Day. I always am like, that's a great starting spot. Like, and then you can just spin off because he has so much classics. But shout out to Cop, man.
And speaking of great writers, somebody y'all could both speak to, somebody like Earl. Earl is somebody who is an amazing writer and also matured into a really, really, really great producer as well. Because, like, we found out about him through Our Future as the rapper, the young rapper. Oh, man, this guy's crazy. But now you look at him as, like, this guy's a rapper and a really great producer. So I just want to give him also his flowers while we're talking about that,
Legend.
because he's
the embodiment of everything.
yeah.
Earl is literally like the oracle, man. He, for me, like, he's put me on to so much shit. He got an old soul. It's funny. Like, he'll show me old MOP songs I didn't know about. How'd you discover this shit? Like, what? But he's just like, he's something else. And like, yeah, he's one-on-one. Like, I appreciate just having him around and being able to, even last year doing the record with him, that was a big feat for me, because he was one of those guys I always looked to as a great. Like, when he emerged, instantly it was like, this guy. And he only got better and refined his shit and came into more of what, you know, he's supposed to be every year. Like, wait to hear his new shit. Sheesh.
That album y'all dropped came out when I had COVID, and it wasn't on streaming services. And I realized that, and I was too sick to figure out. I was like, I don't know what the hell I gotta do to listen to this album. I was like, I'm too sick to understand this. I was like, bro, I give up.
Get back later.
So when it got to streaming services, great album. First of all, that is a super duper great album. My favorite song definitely got to be I don't want to say the wrong thing. The freaking names are getting. What's the song where the video where he's walking backwards on the treadmill? The do.
Oh, it's called.
Is that Vince Scully or?
What's his name? Scully. Vince Scully.
Crazy song. I love that. But yeah, I mean, that's somebody who I've stood in the paint with and defended, because I did a top albums of the decades list of last decade, and I rated some rap songs my number one. Boy, were people on my head for that. They were like, because I think it had just dropped. It probably came out like 2018 or something. So they're like, it just came out. Like, how could you have it? But that album really like impacted me. I love that album. That album is like Earl's one of my favorite artists of all time. Like, that's like
me too. That's high up in his catalog as far as if you have to rank him. That might be number one.
That's such
and a lot of shit changed after that. If you really go back, there's a tape he put out called Solace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know about that one. It never got released officially, but it's like on YouTube. You go listen to that. He was in a weird, dark place too at the time, and you can fucking hear it. But I think he was just figuring out and coming with a style that influenced a lot of guys that came after that. Now, you can go back to that and be like, damn, all right, he was tapping into something.
I mean, because through that's how I found out about Navy Blue, and I love Sage. You know what I'm saying? So
the Mint.
Yes, the Mint, great song. So yeah, I just want to give bro his flowers, because that's somebody who I absolutely love. That's a top of the top for me or whatever. So absolutely love him. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you. I don't want to keep y'all for too long at all. If there's anything else y'all want to say to the people, I'll give it to y'all. Y'all let it be known.
Shit, good, man. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, bro. Keep doing your shit. And yeah, that's it. Anytime you need anything, we're here.
For sure.
Yeah, super appreciate it.
Back up.
Super.
It's crazy that you're in Tampa?
Jacksonville,
dog.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever done a show there.
Yeah, not a lot of rappers are coming through Jacksonville like that. Not a lot of rappers are coming through Jacksonville at all.
Florida in general is not a big market. When I look at, like, when we sell shit, it's not a big what's up. But I know they're out there, but it's scattered, We got to get them all together as we come to a show.
Also, another great producer that I don't know if I would imagine maybe be on your radar through like Mike and them, 454 makes really great beats. You familiar with 454?
I think I do know him. I think he was Tebe put me on to him.
I think he grew up
with
with
Jacksonville?
No. I think he's from Orlando. I want to say he grew up with Niante. So let's do that.
I know who he is. He's dope. And it's crazy too. I love him too. All those guys, Sideshow, Mike, the whole crew, Mobby, everybody affiliated is all going crazy. Of course, Navy Blue. Just a super talented group of dudes, just all coming. All their new projects are insane. I got to hear some of Mobby's new shit. Whoa. Actually, you're going to watch. His new shit is same shit with Vince. Wait till you hear Vince Staples' new shit.
I can't wait.
Everybody's going crazy. So we have no choice.
Hey, I can't wait. Also, this is a serious last question. This is actually this is a random thing I found on your Instagram. You said, "Man, my kids just got this Hot Ones Last Dab sauce," and you had to picture the Last Dab sauce they had got you. And I was curious, are you like a hot sauce guy? Because I love hot sauce. I didn't know if you were a hot food guy.
My kids, my youngest son, he loves all that hot sauce stuff. So I'll try it with him. I fuck with it a little bit.
How was that?
A little bit.
How was that?
It was alright. It was alright.
You didn't go crazy or anything though.
Nah, but he tore that shit up.
I feel like when we first went to London, you might have brought back some Nando's sauce.
Definitely brought some that Nando's, you know what I'm saying? Yo, I get suitcases of that shit.
Yeah, that's a good sauce.
I see. It's funny because everything I see from UK food looks absolutely terrible. But
It's not.
But I've heard good about Nando's. I've heard Nando's is good.
It's a chain. It's not like a
Man,
whatever. But the sauce is.
yeah.
Okay.
That's just fire everywhere. They got that shit out in Australia. I'm telling you, I bought a suitcase. I spent a couple $100 on just sauce. Let me get that sauce. You couldn't just get it. Like, let me
But
bring
now I
that.
think I saw them in Whole Foods. I think I saw them.
Man, they got that shit at fucking Walmart.
Really?
That's
Really?
just everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Just
Hey,
Nando's sauce.
you know some sauce good if a nigga spend a couple $100 some sauce. I know that bit was
I know
good.
the suitcase up.
A suitcase. You know what I'm saying?
I was just talking to Mayhem, who was overseas somewhere, and he said he filled his suitcase up with nutmeg barbecue sauce. I made him send me a picture
shit.
because I didn't even believe him. Like, what the fuck is nutmeg barbecue sauce, dog?
Crazy.
Yeah. He sent a suitcase back. I'm like, did you even check to see if they're available on Amazon?
Right?
Right.
Hey, Amazon got everything now.
Customs is like, what the fuck is this?
That is hilarious.
Salute.
For everybody watching right now, I appreciate you guys. Until next time, I say what I mean what I say. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play, and y'all holla at your boy.